Hello, this is going to be a demo of the Zig.kids website. So Zig.kids is a platform that has two halves to it. The first half is the parent-facing half, and the purpose of this demo is not to really get deep into the parent-facing stuff. It's more about the company-facing stuff, but it behooves businesses to understand a little bit how the parent-facing stuff works. So when anybody lands on the site, they're going to land here, and you can search for different activities. So as a business, your activities will show up in search. So we'll go ahead and click Jordan Wrestling Club. This navigates me right to Jordan Wrestling Club's public-facing profile, which your business will have one as well, where I can see spectators will be able to see announcements, our location, our activities, our reviews, and similar companies. If we go back to the base search, our search is very customizable to where parents can search for activities for specific genders, skill levels, ages, days, the times, the distance from a specific location across different categories, and we also have the map view. So once again, the search is primarily for parents, and there's more parent features. But it's important to understand that as a business of how your activities in your company shows up on Zig. So let's go ahead and get started. Up in the top right, after you create an account, you'll see that we have My Companies and Create Company. Here's what Create Company looks like. You can fill this out, and then an internal Zig employee will reach out to you and to make sure that your company is real, and that we vet all of our companies to make sure that they belong on the platform. I'm going to go ahead and jump into one of my existing companies I created here. Let's go to Jordan Wrestling Club. As I mentioned, Zig is your online presence, and so if we look at your left-hand navigation here, you'll see all sorts of different stuff, and we'll talk about each of them. But let's first jump down into details where you can manage the items that show up on your public facing profile there, your price tier, phone number, description, and your address. Next, we have images. On your profile, there are a few different spots images can show up. So I'll navigate over to the public profile. Once again, this is what parents will see. Here's your cover photo right here. Here's your logo. And if we scroll down into here, it doesn't look like this company has images. Let me go to a company that does have images real quick. I believe this one does. So let me go to public profile, pictures right here. So we can see that there's pictures on this, and users will be able to see the images and interact with those. So we're going to go ahead and go back to managing the profile. So these are what your images are. Next, let's get into activities. This is the powerhouse of the platform. Activities are what drive traffic to your business. So every activity has a title, it has a location, which can be virtual. In the participant information, this is where you specify the demographic of the activity with different genders, specify individual ages you want, so 4, 5, 6-year-olds. You specify what category the activity belongs to and what skill level. We support the ability to add in documents. So, for example, we could take in this document right here, and when that goes into registration, which we'll touch on here in a minute, the registration flow will show the parents the documents that they must acknowledge. So you could think of this as like a photo release, right? You need your parents to accept a photo release form in order to register for the activity. This is what this is meant for right here. Let's step into pricing. Price right here. Right now we have 3 different types of payment frequency. So one-time payment, this is like your standard soccer season. You pay maybe $50 at the beginning of the season in order to register, and that's it. Next is flat rate monthly subscription. You can customize what day you want to get paid per activity. So this right here is the 4th day of the month is when this will get billed, but monthly subscription is like a standard Netflix type subscription. So every month, all the registration or all the individuals who registered for the activity will pay $50, and they'll be billed on the 4th. Lastly, we have monthly per lesson. So, for example, it's October this month. Let's say that there's 2 practices this month, and there's 3 practices next month, or 3 sessions this month, 3 sessions next month, 2 sessions this month. The price is $50 per session. So in the month of October, it'd be $100, and in the month of November, it would be $150. And once again, you can customize that billing date. Groups are a way to categorize groups of people within the same activity. So if we were to fill this out, let's actually use an example of tutoring here. This is one of the use cases we have on the platform now. And if I go into tutoring, let's say it's $50, a one-time payment you pay at the beginning of the spring, and I support ACT tutoring, and I have 50 people there, and I also support SAT tutoring, and I actually only have 30 spots available there. For ACT, I can say we meet on Mondays and Wednesdays, but for SAT, we meet on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and let's say for time, we meet at 6:30 p.m. for both of them until 8 p.m. here. And for as long as this group runs, let's say we do some spring training, so it's going to go from January 1st until the month of let's say the March 31st. We spend all that time on every Tuesday and Thursday from 6:30 to 8 studying. We can specify instructors for a given activity as well. So you could see I'm in here twice. My name is Marcus Cantu, but I'm in here twice under 2 different emails. So I could say, let's say that there's another instructor in here. So I could have me in this one and this other account on this one. And that way you can manage your staff. So you can specify color or how this activity is going to show up on the calendar, which we'll go to right next. And then you can also allow people to accept trials for a given group. So once again, if we look at this activity, this is the tutoring activity. Maybe we call this, 2026, the coming year, standardize testing tutoring. And the location, let's say it's 95 Beat Digger Boulevard, which is Jordan High School. And it's for males and females, and it might be an education-based activity. And 4, 5, 6, not going to cut it. Maybe we do 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18-year-olds. So high schoolers and all 3 tier levels. It's $50 for right at the beginning of the season, and for ACT prep, it's Monday and Wednesdays, and for SAT, it's Tuesdays and Thursdays. So given this, let's go ahead and head to the calendar and take a look at some of the features that the calendar offers. The calendar allows you to manage scheduling of everything in a much more refined way. So I'm going to jump over to the beginning of November, and we can see that we have my standard winter wrestling practices in here. If I click on one of these activities right here, one of these instances, I can change the time on this one instance. So let's say on November 4th, practice needs to be pushed to start at 6:30 instead. So I could come in here, say 6:30 p.m. Great. And I could click save. This will notify all the people who've registered for this. Let's say I also need to change the instructor. Maybe I'm out sick. I need to have somebody else come in. That can be done as well. We also have the ability to take attendance in here. So we can have to say present, absent, canceled, and submit. So it's super fast to just go down, and down the list and take attendance. I can also cancel this specific practice, and we can notify all of the people who've registered for that activity as well. In addition to managing individual events, we have the ability to create new activities. Remember, we could have tutoring for male and female. You remember the principle there. We can add a new group to an existing activity. Let's say I need to add a B team for wrestling this season. I can add that in here, and it will be added on to my winter wrestling season. And lastly, we can add an individual event. An event is an one-off event in relation to an activity. So let's go back to activities. Let's look at 2025 winter wrestling season real quick, and let's look at my winter season. I only have one group. And let's look at the events. So this event, this tournament right here is on a Saturday, which is not part of our regular meeting schedule. So I'll show you the group hub, which is what the parents see. And the group hub will communicate these events to the parents, so you don't have to communicate across different avenues. It's all within Zig. So once again, you can create those events right on the calendar right here. You click your activity and you say, for this group, I want to create this event. We have the ability to generate reports as well. Reports communicate the hours that a staff member has worked. Let me get this generated here so you can see it. Communicate the reports a staff member has worked over the given time period. So we can get a summary on the first page. We see Marcus Cantu worked 47 hours in this time interval across 27 sessions. And here's every session right here. And it goes off of your calendar. So if you change one of the instances on the calendar, it was a little bit shorter, then this will reflect that. This is great to be able to take into your payroll provider and show that your staffing hours. So hopping back over here, you can filter a calendar as well. You can specify by specific activity, by specific instructor, so you get to see what you want to see on your calendar. You can hide specific days that aren't relevant to you to make up some room. So Sundays, we don't do anything on Sundays, or I actually would need Saturdays because we have tournaments on Saturdays, so I can re-enable that. Let's step into registration because Zig manages your registration for you as well. So I have my wrestling season registration going right now, and so I can see that this registration came in today. I can see the parent, the communication to that parent, the email, and on the registration I get to see the payment breakdown, how much the parent paid, all the details, and a direct link to contact support in the case that something needs to be optimized or needs to be fixed. I can also copy all these emails right here, right to my clipboard. So in the case that I do need to send an email out, we have that flexibility to do so. Let's step into activities or announcements. I'm sorry. Announcements, there's 3 different types of announcements. The first is a generic announcement. It goes to your followers. If we go visit your public profile real quick, you'll notice your parents can follow you. And they follow you so you can send them announcements, say, hey, we have a new registration open for winter wrestling, whatever have you. Next is for activity and occurrence. We can specify an announcement for a specific activity across all the groups, or we can specify which group we want here. And continuing down the list here, and right now the communication medium is just email. Here soon we'll have push notifications, but for now it's just email. Step into leads. Whenever somebody visits your profile, we capture that data and we can show you what kind of individuals are visiting your profile. So we know how likely they are to buy from you based on a proprietary algorithm. And we have a pretty high prediction rate knowing that a specific individual will purchase or not. We can see Alyssa Sharp here, 19 visits onto the Jordan Wrestling public site, which is great. And so this tells me that Alyssa is very likely to buy. But there's more factors than just visits here. And we have a lot of features planned around this that are going to yield a ton of value. Soon you'll be able to build in-app marketing materials that will market to your top demographic automatically on platform. And that's a feature we have in the works. Continuing down the list here, we have staff. Once again, you can invite your teachers, your coaches, whatever have you, to the platform, and you can manage their activities on the calendar. You create an invite here, you send them an email, and then when they create their Zig account and accept the invite, they'll be populated in here in your staff, and you can add them to activities, onto specific groups, on a specific day if needed. Next, let's step into payouts. This is one of the first things we do when you come into creating your Zig account. You connect with Stripe. Stripe is our payment provider, and this allows funds to flow to you. So we're going to step into what the registration looks like. What do your parents see when they go to register? So once again, we'll go to the public profile. I see 2025 winter wrestling season, so let's go ahead and register for that. And remember, I'm acting as a parent right now. So I can continue right here. I can register multiple kids at the same time, and I can even create a new kid right in line here. The significance of this is I don't have to re-enter my kid's data every single time I register for an activity. As a parent, I create their kid profile, and that's it. I can reuse them. I can register for them for fall sports, winter sports, spring sports, whatever have you, different activities using their same Zig profile. You can register multiple kids at once, so let's go ahead and continue here. This is where the parents would click I acknowledge to those files that you upload during registration. You can send a note specific to your instructor. And lastly, you're greeted with the order summary, which this is where they'll enter their card info, fill things out, and then they'll be able to submit the funds. So as for the flow of funds, as the administrator of the activity, you can expect what you list. So once again, I'm the administrator of Jordan Wrestling here. So $105 is what I will receive into my wrestling bank account when somebody pays. The parents pay the fees on top of the registration as opposed to taking that away from the administrators of the activity. Upon registering as a parent, I can go into my profile, and there's some really neat things I can do here. So I'm a parent, this is my profile, right? I can see the activities I've registered for. So we can go to what's called the Group Hub. The Group Hub is the powerhouse of what makes us powerful for parents. On the right-hand side, we have an instant messenger that we can coordinate where we're sitting in a given event, who's doing food for this weekend, etc. I can view the other participants of the activity and even message them directly. So if I need to get a hold of Alyssa Sharp, for example, I can message her directly and say, hey, how's Elijah doing? Who's her son? How's Elijah doing this weekend? Get anything I might need there. And this is as a parent, so parents can coordinate amongst each other and coordinate carpooling and everything of the sort. Here are those events for the activity. So here's this tournament. I can go ahead and I can add it to my calendar right here, and that will add it exactly how we would expect it to be added. So it's super easy for them. I can view all of them or the past ones. Right now there's only one, and the season hasn't started yet. Here's announcements relative to this specific activity. And lastly, a feature that's under construction right now is reports. As the administrator of an activity, you'll soon be able to generate a report card for each individual student. So that concludes the core features of the Zig application. We're adding in new features every week, and really excited about what we have here.